Oh, very pleased. Not only he, but a few others as well. And thought we started very, very brightly in the game. Had a goal, which is disallowed. Disappointing to find out it's about 1.5 yards onside. I didn't know that there, otherwise I'd have gone mad. And no, I think the referee has. I've just mentioned it to him, and he's apologised if that was the case. But when he sees it, it's disappointing that really, because he's well onside. Having said that, we scored a very good goal. Great opportunity to go 2-0 in front, and I suppose at international level, I suppose at any level, that would have been a big moment for us. Thought we'd done very well up until half-time. I thought we started a bit hesitantly in the second half, obviously. Allowed them into the game. They scored a goal. And I thought we lost our way a little bit then for a while. That said, during the period, we could have gone 2-1 in front. And so Sheehan could have scored a hat-trick tonight. His first goal he took brilliantly. And the other two that might have been, considering his confidence was really up, might have been easier chances to have taken. We're beaten, disappointed, obviously, to lose the game. We had a number of substitutions at the end, obviously. But overall, lots to be really happy about, genuinely happy about.
Why did you think we lost our ways?
Sometimes it happens, you know. They have some very, very decent players, so I think some sort of credit has to go to them. They started brightly in the second half, given that goal. Of course, that goal has given them a big lift, and they've gone to get a second goal. It's a rather sloppy one as far as we were concerned. But that said, we had chances tonight, clear-cut chances, and overall I was pleased the fact that we carved those chances out.
You seem to struggle a little bit with Tadic in that 10-row centre half, or the runs from Tosic in from the those little diagonal runs.
Yep.
We didn't seem to crack them at all.
Well, it is, you know, people who are brilliant playing in that sort of position are difficult to pick up, whether you decide whether you have one of your centre halves go in and try and close him down a little bit, or whether you have a midfield player drop off. It's always been difficult. You know, the very, very best number 10s, as they call them these days. I'm not saying that was his number, but the very best players are difficult, and they have some exceptional players in their side, playing for some exceptional clubs. But I take your point entirely. But overall, I thought in the first half we coped with those sort of problems, and I thought we got a little bit tired. And of course, like anything else, as you're trying to get some people on in the game to just maybe get 10 and 15, 20 minutes, I think you'll lose a bit of pattern then during the course of that. And yet, having said that, David Myler's had a chance with a header, and I think he thought he might have scored. I know it's not wanted to come in and say that. I'm genuinely pleased with a lot of the game. Disappointed to have lost the match, of course, but in the scheme of things, lots of things that I was pleased about, and there are quite a number of things that I think that we can obviously try and work on.
We get to see a little bit of Aidan McGeady's inconsistencies in the game. I thought, you know, early in the game, maybe the first 15, 16, 17 minutes, he was really quite good, particularly when we didn't have the ball at track with the runs.
Yeah.
But then I think it was around 18 minutes was one time when we lost the ball out on that side, and he just stood there. He didn't drop back.
Well, okay, if you remember them. Actually, the one of the reasons I changed, I thought James McLean started off excellently, and we seemed to be getting a bit of joy down the left-hand side. And one of the reasons that I wanted to change is because I didn't think that Aidan was getting into the game on the other side of the field, on the ball. All he seemed to be was tracking back. So I wanted to change him over for the second period of the first half, to try and get into the game, and I thought he did. He played a short corner once, and he beat the player exceptionally well. But one thing I think, and I don't want to be an apologist for Aidan McGeady all the time, but I think you could see the lack of sharpness there for the games that he has not played in for quite some considerable time. And I thought he was starting to get tired. I thought there were a number of them starting to get tired during the course of the game. So I thought that, and but there's I think when you have that sort of ability, sometimes it's almost inescapable that you're going to make a few mistakes during the course of the game. And what happens sometimes to talented players is that they start to feel that a wee bit more than perhaps they should do. But no, plenty of work. But I take your point entirely.
Neil Ridden.
Mark, And when you assess Shane's performance overall, do you leave frustrated that he couldn't take those chances, or pleased at his movement to sort of latch onto those passes from there?
Well, it was a terrific ball by Wes Hoolan, absolutely terrific ball, and put him in. And again, it's just getting back to the point, I thought with his confidence being high, that I thought that he might have taken that another yard or two and put it in. No, I think he's frustrated with the fact that he could have easily have scored a hat-trick, and the two chances that fell to him, I thought, considering the first goal he scores is actually on his left foot, the other ones I think he thought he could score. It didn't happen. Maybe those might go in on the big occasion, on the occasions that we, eventually that it's called upon. But in terms of his contribution, what I think that where he wants to try and improve is the overall ability of a centre forward is to be able to take it in, keep the ball for a second or two, and bring other players into the game. But I think he's attempting to do that, and I think he's trying to improve in that.
Jamie Murray.
We've just been talking about Shane there, and if Robbie was to be injured or suspended in the qualification campaign, would you be concerned at our ability to get goals and stuff like that in the games if Robbie was, for whatever reason, unavailable?
No, well, we created the chances tonight, and I thought that was very, very pleasing. And I don't mean a half chance or a quarter chance that we can look at. There were really great chances in the game. And had we had taken those chances, I think that we probably would have gone on to have won the match. And again, going in at half time, I was actually very, very pleased in the moments in the second half. As I said earlier, we started rather slowly. I use the word hesitantly, whatever word you want to use. They've scored just after half time, and it's given them a big lift. But in terms of some of the play that we made tonight, I'm very pleased indeed. Really pleased.
Martin, had you planned beforehand to take Wes off after an hour, or did that just happen?
No, he hasn't played much football either. That game that he had at the weekend was his first in God knows how long it was at club level. No, I wanted to it wasn't really. There were plans afoot to actually take a number of players off to try and look at it from a club viewpoint. And I think sometimes at the end of it, whether the club managers are going to phone me tomorrow morning and be thankful or thank me for that, I wouldn't imagine so, to tell you the truth. But it was a thought, because there are other games, and I understand that from a viewpoint. Taking the substitutions during the course of the game, I think when you know that you've got 6, I think they kind of disrupt it as much as anything else. But no, so there were plans afoot to take certain players off in the game, and I actually changed it accordingly.
Last one for Tommy Martin.
What things are you hoping to work on in June? What do you feel you need to work on?
Well, let me say the obvious things. Games nowadays, the big games now are being decided on set pieces. And while overall we coped pretty well with the general play, particularly in the first half, there are a number of corner kicks that we were second best to. So I think that we'd have to try and improve that, that part of the game. Also to try and devise some set pieces of our own, where we could be, a little bit more cute, if that's the case. And so those things, and obviously parts of play that you think now, maybe in the summertime, we might have the maybe 6, 7, 8, 10 days with the players, maybe a little bit longer, and that should stand us in decent stead. The fact is that we had players coming in, and I'm quite sure it's the same for Serbia, but we had players coming in on Monday would not be able to do much more than warm downs than anything else. So we haven't been able to achieve as much as you'd want to in a course of like 48 hours. So there's plenty to be getting on with.
Just give you one.
Martin, just at the end of your second period with the team from the first couple of games before Christmas to now, how far do you think Ireland have come under you in terms of
well,
you want them
no.
to play, and how long do you think it will take until the team are playing exactly where you want?
Well, what we have a number of games. I always thought this from the very first place. This was we played Latvia at home, and realistically, we should be able to win that game. It's not matter how we think we've come along. I think that's hard to gauge over a 3-month period. Haven't seen the players now for some considerable time. We were tonight was up in quality from the match against Latvia. I think very obviously. I mean, Serbia. I don't know where they're positioned in the league, but it'll be certainly in the top in the standings. But certainly be in the top 30. And I think they're pretty disappointed that they haven't made the World Cup. You can see they've got quality players. So the idea is that sometimes playing without the ball for little periods of the game, not to get too frustrated with things, and then to be able to use the ball maybe a little bit better when we have it, particularly in moments where we're just getting a little bit tired. I thought the first half, I thought we used it exceptionally well, but I thought we started to get a little bit tired in the second half. And as I said earlier, the substitutions, which I was always going to make, I felt were going to be almost disruptive rather than anything else.
That's all. Thank you.
Go on.
Signed a multi-year deal, it's come across from Galaxy tonight, so just wondering, that obviously shows his indication to carry on for the fact that it's multi-years, means he's intending to carry on.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but he's playing out with LA Galaxy, but he has not given me any indication that he wants to leave Ireland at the moment. And naturally, for a goal scorer, there's always a place for him. But I want the side to be as competitive as possible come September when the big games come round, and that players are really playing for positions.